You've been told to share your feelings, right? To speak your truth, not hold it in, to air your grievances. But has anyone ever told you that this constant emotional honesty may actually be doing more harm than good in your relationship? Well, I'm telling you that now because no one had ever told that to me. And so I had to learn it the hard way. Listen, if every time you try to share your feelings in your relationship, or nearly every time, right, it results in a fight, or your partner shuts down, or you leave feeling worse instead of better, then this conversation is for you. Welcome, dear one, to another Catalyst conversation where we challenge the unquestioned beliefs and assumptions about love. We flip the script on what you've been taught and reveal the truths that no one has ever told you. Here, we unlock a whole new paradigm of partnership, one that anchors in consciousness and empowered leadership, and results in the kind of relationship that most people only dream of. Now, today we are exposing the hidden dangers of a really common communication habit, sharing your feelings, but doing so quite ineffectively. Too much, at the wrong time, and in the wrong way. This episode isn't about stuffing your feelings down, don't worry. It's about stepping into greater levels of power and consciousness and effectiveness in sharing your feeling. It's about intention, and it's about learning how to express yourself in a way that actually gets you what you want in your relationship: deeper love, greater closeness, and a relationship that feels like a sanctuary, like home, one where you can feel safe in sharing anything that you need to share. Right? Sounds good? Yes. Before we get into all of that deliciousness, I want to take a moment to introduce myself for those who may be new to me and to these Catalyst conversations. My name is Dr. Jenny Wallach. I am an award winning relationship mentor, speaker, author, and educator, and I am a disruptor. I am determined to make this world a better place through more conscious and evolved relationships. Alongside my partner and soulmate, Calvin O'Seely, I am the CEO and co founder of Powerful Love Relationships and co creator of the three pillar Powerful Love Method, a proven path to saving, healing, and improving your relationship, even if your partner isn't doing the work with you. In these Catalyst conversations, as in everything we do at Powerful Love, our goal isn't just to teach you how to do your relationships better. It is to redefine with you how your relationship can work and to empower you, fellow visionary, to create the kind of relationship and life and love that fills your hearts and fuels your dreams. So let's get into this. I'm talking today about sharing our, not sharing our emotions, the dangers of sharing our emotions, because I, I, I really see that the way that many of us share our feelings, myself included, historically, anyways, creates a lot of problems in our relationships. And it can be so frustrating, right? Because when you try to share your feelings, when you have feelings that you want to share, the desire isn't for a fight or to for things to feel worse, right? The desire is for things to feel better, for change to happen, for your partner to understand, for repair to occur. And when your attempt to share feelings results in greater disconnection or injury or unhappiness for both of you, it can really start to damage your relationship. And so most people have no idea how their communication strategy when it comes to sharing their feelings is actually keeping them stuck. And the advice that we've gotten around being open and honest and sharing everything and not holding back, and you got to talk about your feelings, you got to talk about things, like, sounds like good advice, but it is so nuanced, y'all. And if we just take it at face value, we get into trouble when that sharing, that honesty comes out the way it normally does, as in our raw form of emotion, as blame or projection, as criticism, as this in the unfiltered ways that it usually comes forward, you're not actually building intimacy and connection. What you're doing is creating a minefield, right? Like you're kind of risking that shit's going to get triggered and your partner's going to get upset, because those raw emotions are hard for any of us to receive. So here's the truth that most people probably don't want to hear, but that if you're here listening, love, I hope that you can hear this. So buckle up. Let's get really honest about our feelings and how we share them. Okay? The truth, not every feeling is worth sharing. Your partner doesn't need to hear about every single feeling that you're having. In fact, a lot of the feelings that you're having are far more about you than they are about them. And it's your work, it's your shit to deal with. There, I said it. Okay, now listen up. I'm a big fan of a guy named Terrence Real, who is an author, mentor, coach, relationship expert, right? And so there's this language he uses to describe what I'm talking about. He calls it the every feeling I have is sacred trap. Okay? This is the belief that just because you feel something, you have a right or even a responsibility to say it, to share it. Raw, unfiltered, in the moment, right now, immediately, right? Like we need to share our feelings. It's our right. I have these feelings, my feelings are valid. I should be able to share them with you. That shit's a problem, okay? And that's where most people go wrong, is in that belief, in this trap of like my feelings are sacred and you like I need you to hold them. I need you to be able to receive them. Because emotional honesty without emotional maturity, consciousness and intentionality, that is not intimacy, y'all. That's emotional discharge. It confuses trying to be authentic with like being reckless. Really, people mistake vulnerability for or they mistake venting for vulnerability, and they think that they're just that just releasing these emotions is intimacy, can create connection. I mean, that's what we want, but it doesn't. It just dumps on our partner, and then we wonder why our partner withdraws or gets defensive or shuts down. Terry Real said it really bluntly, and I want you to hear this because this is real. Maybe hard to hear, but it's real. He says, I'm looking at my notes. Dumping your unhappiness on your partner in the name of truth is not intimacy, it's abuse. I'll let that sit for a minute. Okay? This is not about suppressing your feelings. It's about leading them consciously, intentionally, and with love. And here's what you need to understand to get this, guys. Your partner doesn't cause your feelings. They might trigger something, they might spark something, they might activate something within you, but the feeling itself, that comes from you, love. Your feelings are valid. Absolutely. They are understandable and they make complete sense given who you are, how you see the world, your background, your triggers, your stories, your biology, but they are not evidence necessarily that your partner did something wrong. They say a lot more about you than they say about your partner. So what we got to do is like pay attention to what we're learning about ourselves when our feelings come up. There's information there, yes, and it's important information, important for you to pay attention to so you can make an informed choice about what to do with those feelings. I tell my kids all the time, like, you can have your feelings. All feelings are okay. But it's what we do with those feelings, how we respond to those feelings, that really matters. Because listen, I am a big proponent of having your feelings, feeling your feelings, and even sharing your feelings, but we got to do it in a more responsible and conscious way. Our feelings are simply evidence of how we interpreted the moment, how our body has made sense of what happened, how our nervous system is remembering something from our past, how the stories and beliefs that are going on in our mind. This is something we teach our clients called the 90-10 rule. What the 90-10 rule means is that 90% of anyone's emotional reaction, including yours, my friend, is about you, is about them, right? A person's emotional reaction, behaviors, etc. A person's shit is 90% about them and 10% about the thing that actually happened, the thing that was said, the thing that they experienced. 90% is about you. 10% is about what your partner did or didn't do. 90% of your partner's reaction is about their shit. 10% is about what you actually did or didn't do. This is a very liberating truth, and I'm not going to go very deep into it right now, but I want you to have this tool, this paradigm, this framework to better understand what this is about, because if you understand that 90% of your feelings is about you, then you get to take accountability, you get to take responsibility for that 90% and becoming aware of it, right? This is about your wounds, your patterns, your expectations, your stories, your beliefs, what you think should or shouldn't happen, or how you should or shouldn't be treated, or what this reminds you of in your past. This is all your stuff, which is why when Cal and I started, like, the thing we did as we transformed our relationship from unbearable to unbelievable, we called owning our shit. And the question we asked ourselves is, what's my shit to own here? This is what we were tuning into. What is the stuff that's coming up for me in this moment that has led to me feeling this way? And then what do I want to do about it? That is like the key to the transformation that we support our clients getting all the time, that changes their relationships, that saves their relationships, that makes their marriages better than they've ever been after 20 years of being together. So so I'm going to circle back to this idea that it is your responsibility to lead your emotions, not throw them at your partner and hope that they can soothe you or do something with those emotions so that you can feel better. Right? You need to know why you're sharing them and what you need from your partner when you're sharing them. It's like, just like you wouldn't throw raw sewage on someone and call it just being honest, right? We don't get to just unload every passing thought, every frustration, every feeling, and expect it to bring us closer in our relationships. That just does damage, right? Sharing your feelings first without slowing down to process them is not communication, it's dumping. It's projecting your shit onto your partner. It's asking them to do the emotional labor of attending to what is 90% yours to own. So here's what I want for you, my loves. Before you open your mouth to share your feelings. And listen, I know this is a hard lesson. I've had to learn it too. Ask any of my previous partners in the relationships that haven't worked out, or ask Cal how it was in the beginning. This is a game changer, okay? Before you before you say anything in the name of being honest and real, slow down, check in with yourself, and get clear about your intentions in sharing, okay? I have some questions that I want you to consider. So lean in and listen up. Maybe grab a pencil or pen, something to write on. Come back to this video and revisit these questions, because these are really important. Here's what I want you to ask yourself. Train yourself to consider when a feeling comes up before you share it, okay? First, where are these thoughts actually coming from? Have I owned my part in what I'm feeling, right? How much is this about my own shit, my expectations, my beliefs, my stories, my mood, my insecurities, my past? How much is yours to own here? And how much is really about what your partner did or didn't do, about what they said, about how they reacted, right? What might have been going on for them? Is it okay that they're stressed? Are they not feeling well? Is it, like, understandable that they got defensive because of how you brought something up, right? Like, take a scan of your part in this and your part in potentially influencing what just happened, because there's a part of that may be at play here too. Okay, another important question: what do I truly want as a result of sharing my feelings? We got to be able to share that with our partner, right? We need to be able to know that in order to effectively ask for that. So, in sharing your feelings, what do you need from your partner? Validation, understanding? Do you need a behavior change? Do you need to set a boundary? Like, what is it? Consider, is this moment that I want to share like about trying to connect and grow our relationship? Are we trying to improve and expand our relationship? Or am I trying to control the situation? Am I trying to retaliate because they hurt me? Am I just projecting my own shit onto them? Right? We got to get really honest about this. Are you sharing to create real connection, or are you sharing just to discharge the discomfort that you're feeling in your own body? And I have a story I'm going to share after this, when I get done with kind of this teaching piece. Another really, really key question, guys. How can I share this in a way that is more likely to get me what I desire? Right? How can I share this in a way that invites closeness and care and not blame or shame? That's what we're really after. So sharing your feelings, yes, okay, if you get to a point where you realize you need and want to share them, that it's a good idea to do so. Now you got to think about how you want to bring it up. What kind of tone? Can you get consent? How do you want to introduce the idea? How can we anticipate how your partner might react? Like, that is a skill and an art in and of itself. And one, by the way, in which we support our clients with in the work that we do. And then finally, I want you to think about whether you are actually centered enough to be able to express and share your feelings with clarity, compassion, and personal empowerment. Because that's important too. If you're too dysregulated, too activated, too defensive, too hurt, now's probably not the time. You got to be anchored in your power to be the most effective in communicating. Otherwise, it can spiral out of control pretty easily. If nothing else, here's what I want you to remember from today's Catalyst conversation, okay? Sharing your unprocessed emotions creates disconnection and even harm, okay? Sharing unprocessed emotions creates disconnection and even harm. But processed, intentional, conscious sharing of emotions, that is where intimacy lives. And friend, you are way too powerful to confuse those two. Okay? So let's not anymore. Let me share a quick story. So Cal and I are on this road trip right now. And um I I was starting to feel unappreciated. I was doing a lot. I was tired. We got 4 kids. There's a lot to do on a road trip. And I was working really hard. Um, and Cal was working. Like, he's had to work on the road trip even while we're driving. So I was starting to feel unappreciated and a little frustrated, maybe even a little resentful. And I could have shared my feelings raw and unfiltered. Like, you know what? Like, could you please say thank you for this? I am doing so much work here. Um, but I didn't, okay? Because I really do my best to practice what I preach. And so instead, I asked permission to share. Like, can I share something with you? And he's like, okay. And then I shared, like, I owned, I have been feeling, or I'm starting to feel unappreciated, because my love language is words, and I haven't heard a lot of like gratitude or recognition or acknowledgement of everything that I'm doing. And what would feel a lot better for me, what would help me feel a lot better, is if you could start like verbally acknowledging and appreciating all of the things that I am doing. Um, and he said, he heard me. He said, okay. And then he went back to work. Wasn't much. He was having a grumpy day. He was very tired, to be fair. Which is something I had to keep in mind, right? Because there was parts of me that was like, really, that's all you're gonna say? Like, that you're not gonna respond with any appreciation? But and then this thing happened. He sneezed, and I said, bless you. And he just kept working. We were driving, right? I was driving. He was on his laptop working next to me. And inside, I had this like, I had such a strong desire to be like, to say in a really snarky way, thank you, Jenny, in response to the sneeze, right? Bless you, is what I said. And then I wanted to say out loud, thank you, Jenny. You're welcome, Calvin. Because in my brain, like, I just asked him to appreciate me more and say thank you. Like, when someone says bless you, you say thank you. That's my story, my expectation. And he didn't. But I caught myself and I didn't say that, despite the fact that I was still feeling kind of like resentful and frustrated inside. Even though I had shared my feelings, it didn't result in a ton of connection in that moment. Like, if I would have been snarky and been like, here's another opportunity you missed to say thank you to me, what would have happened? He would have felt crappy about himself, but also probably defensive. I would have felt worse because he was trying to work. He didn't really have the emotional energy and attention. We were in a car with our 4 kids. Like, it was not the time to go into it. And really, like, who fucking cares that he didn't say thank you after I said bless you? Maybe he didn't even hear me. But that's the slowing down, y'all. Like, that is the power of it. And so I let it go because I understood the context. I had shared my feelings in an effective way, and I trusted that he would start paying attention to them. And if he didn't, then I would bring it up again in another way, in another effective way, to let him know, like, hey, I haven't noticed a change in your behavior. Remember, I said this. Like, could you bring more attention to how you're appreciating me? And I know that I can do that. And not only can I do that, but I have the responsibility to do that. Um, if it's that important to me. And that's the key, right? Like, is getting slowing down enough to get really clear on what you need to share and why you need to share it and how you can share it in the most effective way, and like, then whether and how to follow up. So I'm hoping you're seeing already how revolutionary this idea is, to move away from, like, we need to just share all of our feelings. We need to air our grievances. We need to get it out of us. Like, we got to talk about our feelings, to like, yes and no, because a lot of our feelings are really about our stuff. And so if you think you want to share feelings, you need to slow down, take some time to ask the questions that I shared, and then get clear on what you want to share and why and how. Okay? Then you're going to have a much more effective outcome. Then sharing your feelings actually gets you closer, gets you understood, gets things to change, or is a lot more likely to in your relationship. If you have a partner who gives a shit about you, right? Like, it's a lot more likely that you're sharing your feelings is going to end up getting you what you desire. And that's what our communication is about, right? To connect us, to move things along, to get on the same page. We don't communicate to make things worse. So let's learn how to do this better. That's our conversation this month. All right. So, wrapping up, listen, if you are part of the relationship revolution, please remember that your activation is coming. This is where we are putting our learning, our ahas from this conversation into practice, because transformation doesn't come from just learning something new. It comes from being someone different. It comes from taking different steps in our dance, doing something different in the moments of our relationship. And we got to practice that shit, because as with all new skills, we're not going to be very good in the beginning. So TRR members, look out for that activation and make sure that you commit to the time and energy. It's like 15 minutes is all I'm asking. 15 minutes to put this into practice, and it's going to change the game. If you are not yet a member of the relationship revolution, I want you to be in it. I was almost like, why? Why aren't you yet? Because this is such a great space, y'all. And we are um we are creating amazing movement in this community. The relationship revolution is our monthly membership, where I support you in bringing learning into practice and embodiment, staying accountable, getting support and questions answered along the way, and truly, like, shifting your relationship into an upward spiral of ongoing growth and evolution. If you're tired of spiraling in the emotional chaos and communication breakdown when you try to share your feelings, and you're ready to start leading your relationship like the powerful badass that you are, this is the place to do it. This is the place to really start turning that around. This membership I have created for those of us who know that our relationship is essential to our well-being and are willing and ready to put in even just a little bit of energy. We're talking 30 minutes a week of intentional, like between this video and then the application of intentional conscious work into growing and evolving our relationship. Here in the Relationship Revolution, I'm all about like rewriting the script and creating something that most people don't know how to have, can't have, but dream of having. And I want it for you. And this is where we're going to create it. So you get the tools, you get the support, you get the structure, and it works even if your partner's not involved. And the founding membership rate is still available. That's only $97, and you get some bonuses. Um, jump in now because we are approaching that undisclosed point at which I'm like, "Nah, I'm bringing this up," and the standard membership price is going to be 147. So you get a 33% discount or something like that, $50 off a month, and you get locked into that rate forever. So if you're feeling it, jump in. You got nothing to lose, my loves. That's it for today. I know this went long, but this is a really big one, really important one. I will look forward to seeing you next time for another Catalyst conversation live every Friday at 12:30 p.m. 12:30 p.m. Pacific. Until then, keep leading with love, guys. Thanks for joining.